Welcome back, everyone. Oz here, and today I've got some r/am I the asshole for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading the post, giving you my thoughts and opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Living Armadillo 828. Am I the asshole for freaking out / drawing a line about family hiding a big secret about my kid from me? My 2-year-old and 1-year-old woke up early in the morning with fever, cough, running nose, the whole bit. Boy, do I feel that. So I decided that I would take them to the doctors to get them checked out sooner rather than later. I live in a big family with my in-laws, sister-in-laws, brother-in-law, cousins, uncles, grandparents. I was coordinating with my mother-in-law and sister-in-law that we needed to go to the doctors just across the street. They agreed, and we were all going together after breakfast. I told them I'll take a quick shower, then we'll go. 10 minutes later, I came out of the shower, dressed and ready to go, but my daughter and mother-in-law are nowhere to be found. My son was home, but they were gone. Sister-in-law said she's at the doctor's with my daughter, but I was confused since my son also needed to go, and I was also coming, so why did they leave? My mother-in-law and I have a different native tongue, so I thought there was a misunderstanding, so I said it's okay. I'll take my son later in the day. They were taking a long time to come home, so I was calling and asking what's going on, and they said my daughter is getting an IV just to rehydrate, and she'll get medicine for her cold. I was at home with my son taking care of him because he was also sick. They eventually came home at night, and my daughter was sleeping. She was prescribed meds for her cold and eardrops. It was around 6 p.m. the next day when I was putting my daughter's eardrops and noticed her tongue looks very strange. Like pieces of cotton or thread in her mouth. I called my mother-in-law and sister-in-law over and was saying her tongue looks infected and to check it. They froze and became silent, looking down and said, "Actually, those are the stitches she got yesterday from falling down the stairs, but we didn't want to tell you because you would be worried." I immediately freaked out on everyone to hide such a thing from me for more than 24 hours. They confessed everything. While I was in the shower, my daughter fell down the stairs while in grandma's care. The entire family was at the hospital and on the phone with my husband, who's abroad. All of them, 7 family members total, came to the agreement not to tell me what happened because I'd be so upset. I only found out by seeing her tongue stitches on my own. I told them accidents happen, but the lying is totally unbelievable, and how can so many family members be in agreement to keep this a secret? I now told them that they broke my trust completely, and if they can lie about such a big thing, they can lie about anything. I told them my kids will not be out of my eyesight from now on, no matter what, and I don't care how they feel about that. Overreacting? I don't think so, at all, but please give me perspective. Am I the asshole? Yeah, OP is not overreacting in the slightest and definitely not the asshole here. It is extremely disappointing that the husband is also involved on this here. Like, that is actually just, like, frustrating as hell. Honestly, if I found out secondhand that my child needed stitches or immediate medical care and no one bothered to fucking tell me, I'd be pretty pissed. And actually, kind of in a fucked up way, I was in this position as an infant. When I was younger, I was rocking back and forth in my high chair at daycare. I still have a really bad habit of leaning back in my chair when I really shouldn't be. In fact, there are numerous audios from the Oz Media main channel where I was leaning back in my chair while recording and the chair broke. So, a habit that I never broke, even since being an infant. However, when I was 1 year old, I was rocking back and forth in my high chair, no one was stopping me. High chair collapsed, and infant me hit my head on the countertop. I still actually have a scar from that to this day. My mother was told that I had a mild accident at daycare, and it was nothing to worry about. It was definitely something to worry about. They thought they could solve it and figure it out when they could not, and I had to go to the hospital after my mom picked me up. So definitely not good, and to this day I actually still have the scar from it. It's actually something that I oftentimes think about because when I see the scar, my first thought goes to, wow, I'm really lucky I'm not blind in that eye. Because I can see, like, where the countertop, like, landed, and it is, yeah. There are so many levels to, like, why OP is a million times justified being pissed off. For one, an operation was done to her daughter without her consent, and she had no information on the fact that, hey, your daughter may have permanently damaged her tongue, or worse. Who knows? Not you, that's for damn sure. But then additionally, I call bullshit that, oh, we didn't tell you because we were afraid you'd be worried. No, I think you didn't say anything because you were afraid of getting in trouble, so you'd rather sacrifice the 2-year-old and just hope the mother never notices than actually be responsible about it and take ownership of the fact that, oh yeah, sorry, your daughter had an accident while going down the stairs. Yeah, shit happens. But the fact y'all decided to actively keep OP in the dark, including the husband, it just reeks as though they're trying to hide it rather than not worry OP. Like also, we have no idea if they actually had any intention to ever tell OP. Ever. Because 24 hours had passed and she was never made aware of what happened to her child. I mean, either she was gonna find out from the doctor being like, oh, how are they recovering from the tongue stitches? Or the husband would just casually drop it of, oh, hey, did you know our kid had to have tongue stitches? It sucks that you, the parent who isn't anywhere near here, knows, and I don't, the one who can actually do something about it. Speaking of the husband, by the way, I checked OP's comments, and there's some more information which actually just makes the husband even more of the villain in this scenario. User West Resource 1604 comments, not overreacting. Plus, it's really odd how they were able to take your daughter to the doctor and consent for your daughter to get stitches. Find the doc, ask what happened and why they treated without parental consent. They probably lied and stated that sister-in-law was you. OP responds, yeah, I agree completely. We are in South Asia and rules are much more lax here. My husband was on video chat with them and gave verbal consent, and that's about it. West Resource 1604 comments further, and he didn't tell you? Don't you have any value? To which OP responds, yeah, their excuse was that my husband was hysterical, so they didn't want us both to be hysterical at the same time. My husband is actually the one who told them not to tell me. So he's the real villain here, in my opinion. The thing is, there are 100% circumstances where it's like, let me just take care of this and I'll tell you what's going on after so that way I'm not going to worry you. Let me handle this. Let me fix it. A child's health and safety, especially when you're abroad, is not one of them. At a minimum, OP needs to sit down with her husband and have a serious conversation of how to approach situations like this in the future because this is just unacceptable. Mental Ad 906. Am I the asshole? I rescinded in-laws' invitation to Easter. My in-laws, mother-in-law, father-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, never invite us over or entertain us. Last visit to brother-in-law and sister-in-law's house was over 25 years ago. They all expect me and my husband to create every holiday meal, memory, and event. After 30 plus years, I'm over it. I was asked to host a family Easter meal. I initially did not want to. I yielded and sent out text messages far and wide. Started cleaning the house, sprucing up the yard, and planning decorations and food. No one indicated they would attend. I had ended my message with a plea for them to let me know if they were coming. Not a single person did. My husband's family is famous for this. I'm still mad a family of 4 RSVP'd for Thanksgiving on the day before. I had my table set and had to adjust everything from seating to portions. Usually I have to badger them to see if they're coming. This time, I was just tired. I sent a message saying it was lucky no one was attending because we had to withdraw our invitation. Promptly got messages that they all meant to come but forgot to reply to the invitation. Father-in-law is a little hot under the collar because he seems to believe that planning to come is the same as letting me know. Am I the asshole? After dealing with this for 30 years, I really do not blame you for finally snapping and going, you know what, fuck it, you guys are gonna have to actually put in some legwork here. No one's communicating, they're just expecting. Hell, they're literally in the standpoint of, well, if I think about it, that means it's gonna be. You should just know that I'm thinking about this and that I'm planning on doing this. I'd be very curious to see if anyone else decides to start hosting instead, or maybe if next time you host, maybe you'll actually get responses in a reasonable time frame instead. That'd be pretty cool. It'd also be pretty funny if like the moment you actually do send the text of, hey, I'm hosting, here are the times, if you just actually get responses within a reasonable time frame. Like, imagine that. Posted by I Think Ants Are Cute. Am I the asshole? Husband cut off my son's hair, so I used his card to buy my son the designer jacket he's been wanting. My son is 17, and pretty much all his life has had long hair. He had long, thick, and very well maintained black hair that went just past his chest, and he loved it. My husband, his stepdad, has never been a fan of it, and always thought it was girly. He's never been mean or cruel about it to my son's face, but he has said to me that he thinks he should cut it off. The two of them got into a huge fight because my son has been skipping his classes, and my husband decided that to punish him, he was going to cut his hair. I don't know how it went down, but when I came home, my son was crying and cutting his own hair in the mirror. I asked him what was wrong and what he was doing, and he told me my husband had randomly cut his hair short in spots, and now he had to cut it really short to even it out and make it look okay. I went and spoke to my husband to find out the specifics of what happened from his side as well, and it ended up in yelling because while I don't agree with my son skipping classes, I felt that cutting his hair over it was cruel and horrible when this could have been resolved another way. To cheer up my son, I bought him this affliction leather jacket that he's wanted for a while out of my husband's money. My husband found out and was furious, but I told him he shouldn't have cut my son's hair and he can do this as an apology. It's going to take years for my son's hair to grow back, but my husband can make that money back quickly. Am I the asshole? Hey, so just as a general heads up, your husband committed assault. If I were you, OP, I would take a good, long, hard look at this incident, what it fully means, what actually just happened here, and ask yourself if this is a man you actually want to remain married to, and if this is someone you want to live the rest of your life with. In my opinion, he cut the hair as an excuse. He's been wanting it gone for a while, and he saw a way that he could enact a punishment and get away with it. Forcing someone to change their physical appearance as a punishment is revolting, and that's what he did. Comes across more that he just used the punishment as an excuse to make his stepson conform to what he finds to be not girly. Not only did his stepfather assault him, but he put him in a position where he had to sit there in the mirror and cut his hair himself in order to look presentable. The way that I see it here, this has kind of two outcomes. If the leather jacket was just simply bridging the gap until you can find the next steps and reevaluating your relationship and boundaries with your husband and potentially even considering leaving him hopefully, then you would not be the asshole, especially because there could be other factors like maybe he has more control and this relationship goes deeper and more, well, nefarious than what we see on the surface here in this Am I the Asshole post. But if you're just simply using the jacket as a way to sweep the incident under the rug and walk away and wipe your hands clean of it and call it, oh well, everything's fine now, the jacket's an apology and everything's okay, then you would be the asshole in this scenario because you're complicit. You're just kind of using the jacket as a bribe, essentially, for him to just get over it. I don't think that's what OP's doing, but I'm bringing that up because there are Reddit comments below that are like, you're the asshole for staying with him. And you're the asshole for being complicit with this. Thankfully, OP does have the following comment. I had no idea it was considered assault. I knew it was cruel, but I was unaware of the charges. I just looked it up online and I will be dealing with it. I deeply apologize for not being more clued up on this, and I will absolutely sort this out. They proceed to comment further. There's been a long conversation and he's told me about things that have happened when I'm not around. There are so many things I was unaware of. I found out his stepbrother, who is 19, has also been heavily involved in many of the things that have been done to my son. I'm devastated and furious. I've been up all night dealing with this legally. In my opinion, if OP follows through on their word, they are 100% not the asshole, but if they remain complicit with his behavior, then they would be. Do right by your son, OP. It sounds like you do have your heart in the right place, you're just trying to figure out what steps you need to take. Thankfully though, it definitely sounds like you know the direction you need to go. Good luck. Letla Apple. Am I the asshole for not letting my dad know when my graduation is because I don't want him and his family to come when he's put me last since I was 5? My parents got divorced a really long time ago. Like before I, 18 female, was 2 a long time ago. They shared custody of me until I was 5, and that's when my dad met his wife. She was in town for a couple of months with her 2-year-old daughter, but When she moved back home, my dad decided he couldn't be without them, and he moved 20 hours away to be with this woman and her daughter. That meant I only saw him for a few weeks in the summer when his wife's daughter got him all the time. I was hurt back then, and I was so confused why he was leaving and going so far away, and why he didn't want to stay. He didn't really explain shit to me back then. Mom was left to sit me down and explain that sometimes people move, and she tried to make me feel like he still loved me. But even then, I didn't feel like he could. Every summer I visited him and his family was rough. I got to hear all about my dad spending all this time being a dad to someone else's child. He used to complain that his stepdaughter's dad took time away from him and how much he missed his stepdaughter when I was right there. The summer I went after the girl's dad dipped was even worse because my dad was so happy about it because he didn't have to share her. From what I can remember, her dad wasn't around a lot, so my dad still saw her all the time, really, and he only saw me a few weeks in the summer. He didn't spend any one-on-one time with me when I was visiting. He made everything about family time, and I hated it. I acted out a lot over there, and I refused to play with his daughter. A few times his wife tried to parent me, and she told me I was supposed to be a nice big sister, and I shouldn't be mean to her kid. But I would yell at her that she stole my dad from me and she needed to go. My dad acted like it was crazy for me to feel that way, and he told me nobody stole him and I still had him. I asked where all this talk of missing me was, but he was like that for a girl who got to see him all the time. My dad told me he said that stuff all the time, and I told him I only heard him missing the girl who wasn't his real daughter. I ended up grounded the rest of that visit because I said she wasn't his real daughter, and he yelled at me because I told him she wasn't my sister when he said she was. My dad and his wife had 2 sons together. He acted shocked when I didn't bring them a gift when I went the summers after they were born. He'd also ask me every summer if I bought anything for his stepdaughter, and my answer was always no. In time, I stopped hating his wife and her daughter. Still don't care about them at all, though, and started being angry with him. I told him my feelings 5 times, and he would tell me I couldn't see why he made the decision yet, but as an adult, I would. I told him he chose a woman and someone else's child over me. I said he moved so far away he could hardly be a part of my life, and then he expected me to slot in with those people every summer. My dad could not understand my lack of love or care for his family, and he never accepted my anger at him when it hit. Last year, we had a big fight because his stepdaughter went to a sleepaway camp 30 minutes from me, and he wanted me to check on her and go see her since it was the first time she went. I refused, and I told him not to ask me to do anything for her. It was a huge deal to him, and it was also the first year I didn't visit him, which he never mentioned at all. I even had his wife call to yell at me for saying I wouldn't do anything in an emergency. I hadn't spoken to my dad since September, and he called me last week saying he thought I would have started letting him know the plan for my graduation because him and his wife would need to schedule time off work, and they need to book flights. He told me he had a whole family to travel with, and they couldn't make it work last minute. I told him I didn't want him there, and he should just go back to acting like I'm not his daughter. He told me to stop being such a child and to be serious. I told him I was serious. I said in a couple more years he can do the graduation stuff with the daughter he replaced me with. I told him not to say he didn't, because I wouldn't believe him, and I didn't believe a word he says about loving me or not abandoning me. Then I ended the call. He called my mom a dozen times after that, and each time he was trying to find out info, and I told her I don't want him to know. And I don't want him there. He told my mom he wanted to fix this, and he asked her to convince me to fly out before then so we can fix things. I called him back instead and told him if he was serious, he'd fly to me and come alone and fix things. I told him his family is not mine, and his life isn't mine, and he made those choices when I was 5. He tried to argue, but I threw it at him that he left me for a woman he had known less than 2 months. My dad's wife started calling and harassing my mom after that. She said I was treating him appallingly, and he deserved more respect and less of my bratty attitude. My mom told her to fuck off and blocked her. She called back again on Dad's phone, and Mom said the same thing and blocked Dad's number too. I don't think it's fair to put this on me when my dad made a choice to leave. Hell, his wife could have said it wouldn't be right for him to leave me if she cared so much. But I gotta be the collateral damage so they could be together, and he hasn't been a real dad to me since, so I don't think he deserves to be here for this big moment. But I'm here because maybe I'm wrong, and they're right. Am I the asshole? I personally think that Dad's ego was strong enough to the fact where he was like, well, I mean, I see my daughter for a few weeks during the summer, or potentially the whole summer. Yeah, that makes up for it. Especially even when she's visiting, I never put her first, and I always make sure that it's never any one-on-one time. Surely the daughter that I abandoned for someone I knew for 2 months wouldn't feel any kind of emotions towards me constantly talking about how much I miss my new daughter. Your replacement. The one that I always get to see. The one who I'm always a part of her life. You just don't have the mental capacity to understand my decisions, but you will when you're older. So that invalidates every emotion you're feeling right now, obviously. You can't just invalidate someone's emotions for their entire life and then be shocked when they don't want anything to do with you. You're the kid on a group project who does absolutely jack shit but still gets all the credit at the end. You weren't there for her during the nights where she was struggling with schoolwork. You weren't there for OP when she was needing to deal with the problems and woes of growing up. You were never actually there for her. You just kind of slapped yourself a part of the conversation once a summer when everything was easy and there were no obligations and called it good. And now you're shocked that she has no interest in allowing you to celebrate or be a part of the fact that she graduated school. What did you do to help her graduate? What did you contribute to her day-to-day life? Well, I have no way to confirm this, but I definitely wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked if it turns out that OP's father never actually made a damn of an effort to actually communicate or check up with OP during the time that they weren't visiting. Or even just on top of that, it seems from some of OP's comments, the father never once made a single effort to actually fly out and see OP, to actually visit with her, to actually be there for her. It was always, you're coming to me, I'm never going to you, never putting in that effort. So, with on top of that, if it does turn into the case the father never actually put any effort into actually keeping in contact with the daughter beyond just scheduling visits, how insulting is it that the one time that he actually reaches out, it's so you can check in on his new daughter, the 2.0 model. You get what you deserve, and this is certainly that. Secret Initiative 9253. Am I the asshole for closing a joint bank account the day before my ex leaves for vacation? Ignore the username, it was randomly generated. Now, here's the much needed context. My ex-husband and I separated over 5 years ago. It has been a messy and emotionally, financially, and physically draining process. While we were together, we had a joint account where all of our expenses were taken out of. After separation, I had requested that my name be removed from the joint account. He did not want the account closed, as that is where he was continuing to do the majority of his banking from. This includes debits from his vehicle payment, receiving payroll, etc. Over the last several years, he has refused to attend the bank together to take my name off of the account. Requests have been made directly and through our attorneys. I even asked as recently as 2 weeks ago, as we both live in the city, we both live rurally, to have this finally done and my name removed. He continued to deny this request. Yesterday, I received a text message and phone call from the bank account the joint account is held, stating that the account was in overdraft, totaling negative $949.99, and the balance needed to be paid instantly. I immediately texted and called my ex-husband to have this rectified, as this was going to affect my credit score. Once again, he refused to attend the bank to have this completed as he was too busy. Luckily, I was in the city and went to the branch to see what my options are to not let it affect my credit. My options were either to do nothing or to pay the overdraft and close the account. I paid the overdraft and moved forward to closing the account. These were funds that I had worked hard saving and was going to go towards extracurricular activities for our children. Now, this is where I might be the asshole. My ex told me that he was leaving on a 3-week vacation to Italy, starting March 31st. This all happened March 30th. I chose the second option to pay the overdraft and close the account. With all fees, the total was close to $970. Now, all of his debits, vehicle payments, bill payments, etc., are expected to come out of this account while he's away. This means that this gives him 1 day to open a new bank account and change all payments coming out of the previous joint account. So, am I the asshole for closing the joint account that he has had 5 years to remove my name off of the day before he leaves for vacation? First of all, I can't believe he's going on vacation to Europe with negative $950 in his account, the one that he very clearly uses actively. That, seems unwise. Also, it's really hard for me to feel bad for him when he's had 5 years to remove OP from the account, and he's had 5 years to either dissolve the account or make it his account, and he's had 5 years to properly make sure all of the incoming payments and bills and etc. are properly allocated to the right account that isn't tied to his ex-wife. She had been asking, he had been denying. She was given an opportunity to close the account, and she did, because it was overdrafted by almost $1,000. Honestly, unless it was purposeful, I'm surprised you would still want your ex-wife attached to you like that. So, I'm kind of now being led to the opinion that maybe you actively kept her name on it as like a way that you could still have like contact with her. By force. I don't know though. Besides laziness, I can't really comprehend a reason why you would just actively want your ex-wife to still see what kind of finances you're pulling in. Agitated twist. Would I be the asshole if I call out my allergic friend for eating her no-no foods? I, 32 female, have a friend, Dina, 38 female, who has a constantly changing and ever-growing list of things she won't eat. Gluten, dairy, certain spices, nightshades, beans, certain protein isolates, specific thickening agents, and nuts. When I host a party, if there isn't anything totally free of all the things on her list of the week, then she'll refuse to eat it all and kind of pout a little. I take pride in my cooking, and I take pride in being a good host who takes care of her guests. It upsets me when I read the labels on everything. Some soy sauces are not gluten-free. Some dairy substitutes have guar gum, only to have her announce a new forbidden food that wasn't on the list before. But what grinds my gears more is when I do manage to make something she can eat, only for her to take a few small bites before sneaking into the kitchen to eat the regular food. For example, I completely sanitized my whole kitchen before making her a hypoallergenic pizza, then put it in an airtight container before making regular pizza for everyone else. When she arrived, she said thanks. She took a slice of her special pizza. One other person asked her if they could try hers just to see how different it was, so they took a slice. The other 6 slices remained untouched. Then, when I got up to use the bathroom during the big game, I saw Dina eating a slice of the regular pizza in the kitchen over the sink. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to make a fuss, and also, I had to pee pretty bad. When I came back out of the bathroom, she had rejoined the party. No ill effects were observed. Later, another friend complained of the same thing. Spending hours doing the research, making the special dish, and then catching Dina eating a Girl Scout cookie. I'm currently making a cake for Dina's birthday. I used to be a pastry chef, and it's taken a lot of skill and effort. If I see her eating regular food, would it be a dick move for me to ask her why she does this? Edit to add, wow, okay, this blew up while I was baking. I don't think my friend of nearly a decade is a drama llama, but I also think it's time I had an open and honest conversation with her about the recent food weirdness. At least the goofy cake turned out well. Smiley face. Update. Had the hard talk, found out there are some specific physical and mental health things going on. It honestly seems like she's been pretty embarrassed about it. We figured out some good strategies that'll work better for my cultural need to feed people without making me want to pull my hair out when she stumbles on taking care of herself. For instance, I will always have her favorite fancy mineral waters in my fridge as a way to show I'm thinking of her. For food-centric occasions, she'll bring along something that she can eat and also text me a few days ahead of time with her allergist's current working theory about what is making her sick. Good on OP for actually trying to have a conversation about it. It sounds like that her friend is just dealing with a lot of random shit, and it's hard to pinpoint, and she's having to give up foods that she just doesn't want to give up. I know if I was suddenly hit with, hey, by the way, you're developing a gluten intolerance, I would definitely do my best to try to avoid gluten, but goddamn, if there's a Papa Murphy's pizza sitting right there, oh, those dice are gonna be really worth rolling, aren't they? Also, if they're just dealing with an ever-changing list of issues and trying to pinpoint what's actually going wrong with them, that's definitely unfortunate, and I am happy that she at least has a friend who's willing to work around that. Hopefully Dina's at least contributing to you as much as you are to her, because it would definitely suck if the friendship was one-sided and lopsided. That's probably the only question that I have, is that as long as the friendship is both ways equal, as in you're giving to her as much as she's giving to you, then it sounds like she's just trying to figure things out right now, and it's definitely probably being really hard on her. If Dina had instead been like, "Nuh-uh, I'm not eating foods I'm not supposed to, you're lying," I definitely would have a very different approach, probably along the lines of just simply telling her that you're not going to be cooking, very complicated dishes for her anymore, and she's going to need to figure something out on her own, or just deal with more simplistic dishes. Thankfully, this isn't the case, and she's just trying to navigate a really awkward and uncomfortable time in her life, and trying to figure out what's going on, and thankfully, this has a good resolution to it, or at least it seems to be going in a good direction. Closing thoughts, not the asshole, no matter what. You're doing wonderful work trying to accommodate for your friend who has allergies, or they're trying to navigate what's currently going on. And as long as you don't feel the friendship is one-sided, then I would just continue working with her to see what the next best steps are. Oh boy, hey, it's the outro. Don't forget, use code ODDS at checkout with GamerSupps. If you like caffeine, that's a good place to go. You get like 100 servings of caffeine for $40. It's a pretty good deal. Or 100 servings of caffeine free if that's more your boat. Also, thank you to everyone who tuned in yesterday to yesterday's live stream with Damien. That was a lot of fun. If you want to take a look at the VOD, you have to go and click View Channel and scroll down and you'll see a little area where it's live streams. And if you click on that, it'll open it up and you can actually take a look at the live stream itself. If I set it public, it'll send out notifications to everyone and pretty much just take an aluminum bat to the shins for my channel's performance. So we gotta do it this way until I can find out a better way of actually having things go live. So if you missed yesterday's little VOD thing and you want to take a look at Damien and I from MK, just kind of shooting it and just, doing some live readings and chatting, there you go. It's a good way for you to get access to that. But yeah, considering how popular it was last time, I think Damien and I are looking to potentially do it more frequently in the future. So if that is something you're interested in, hey, it'll be happening more. Anyways, I'll catch y'all next time.